Welcome to Movie Time in 5. My name is Brian Hayes, and each week I'll provide an almost 5-minute spoiler-free look at a horror sci-fi movie recently released in theaters, on iTunes, or one of your popular streaming services such as Netflix or Amazon Prime. This week I'm going to be reviewing a movie called Breaking In that came out in theaters on Friday, May 11th, 2018. This movie stars Gabrielle Union as Sean Russell, who is the protagonist in the movie, along with her children Jasmine, played by Erigena Alexis, and Glover, played by Seth Carr. The primary antagonist in this flick is Billy Burke, who plays Eddie, who leads a gang of 4 criminals, including cast members Richard Cabral, Levi Meaden, and Mark Furtz. So let's jump into Breaking In. The movie starts with an elderly gentleman who gets out of bed and makes his way out the door for a jog down the street. We follow him down a few streets as he is running across an intersection. A car strikes him as he flies up and hits the windshield and falls to the ground violently. As he struggles on the ground, you see a pair of shoes hit the ground as a man exits a vehicle and slowly walks toward the battered man. And as he looks up with blood streaking down his face, the man from the vehicle raises his boot and violently strikes the injured man as the screen fades to the title sequence of the film. We then switch to a scene with the main protagonist, Sean Russell, again played by Gabrielle Union, driving toward her father's secured and second country home with her 2 children, Jasmine, a strong-willed teenage girl, and Glover, her precocious little brother, to help settle his estate. As the Russell family arrives, they soon realize that their father turned her childhood home into a high-tech, super-surveyed, overly secured sanctuary. However, as they soon find out, this impenetrable stronghold has some uninvited guests who are there looking for something of great value and will stop at nothing to get it. The first 20 minutes of the movie is a quiet exploration of the house by the Russell family, with finally just over the last hour of the movie a cat and mouse game as Sean tries to rescue her children from the clutches of these would-be criminals, with a few twists and turns as the movie reaches its climax. So, what does this movie do well? Well, first, the acting from the Russell family is all stellar and spot on. You get the range of emotions as they transition from boredom and typical family squabbling to coming together of fierce loyalty to band together to survive. The antagonists, however, seem very paper thin and very cliche with no depth to them. Some of the decisions and idiocy of their decision-making process were nonsensical as well. Second, there are some genuinely superb scenes for Sean as she uses engineering acumen and MacGyver-esque spirit with Rambo-level passion to survive and rescue her kids. So what does the movie struggle with? Well, there are a few things there as well. First, there are some tense moments in the film, but the bungling nature of the criminals makes you wonder right from the start, how the hell did these guys get in this fortress in the first place? The fact that the movie starts with this unbelievable premise and not being a supernatural-based thriller, which in some cases you can understand that, didn't start off the movie on the right foot. Second, at every turn, the cons invite their own misfortune, never granting Sean with an equally resilient foe to match wits with or go toe-to-toe with. This creates very little tension in a movie that is driving the viewer to be full of tension, but it never reaches the levels I believe it's trying to attain. Finally, third, the screenplay and pacing of the film is not up to par with the acting of the protagonist and has overt silliness and generic paint-by-numbers plot structure that you will roll your eyes at throughout. So, how would I rate this movie? What would I give Breaking In regards to a score? I would give this movie just a 5 out of 10. The generic and lackluster plot and screenplay, weak and shallow antagonist, and unbelievable premise that launched the start of this movie are salvaged only by excellent acting chops by Gabrielle Union as well as the 2 child actors in this flick. I would recommend waiting to rent this when it comes out later in the year on iTunes or Amazon, or even waiting until it eventually drops on Netflix. I want to finally take a moment to make sure everyone goes over and checks out the amazing new shirts and horror themed gear over at oddnmacabre.com. ODDNMACABRE.com. So I hope you've enjoyed this movie Time in 5. You can find me on Twitter at BrianHayes73. And until next week, do your heart some good and get scared. See y'all.